When we see the word adding or subtracting, we generally think of something that's quite simple or easy to do. Unfortunately, when we have fractions, this can be a little bit complicated, and lots of students do have trouble. So let's break down the rules. When we're adding or subtracting fractions, it is important that we have common or like denominators. That means the number at the bottom of the fractions must be the same for us to add them. So let's take a look at this example here. Let's take 2/7 and add it to 3/7. As we can see, our denominators are both 7, which means that we are allowed to add this. And it can be quite easy for us to do so. All we have to do is add the numerators, or the top numbers, together and keep the denominator the same. And so if we add 2 and 3 together, we'll get 5, and our denominator will stay 7. Once you add or subtract, you always want to do a quick check and see, is this fraction fully simplified? And since we have 5/7 here, this is something that we cannot divide 5 or 7 evenly by another number other than 1, which means this is our final answer, 5/7. Again, that was very easy to do because our denominators were the same. So let's take a look at what it would be if our denominators were different. So let's take a look at a fraction like 2/3 added to 3/4. So you can see right away, unfortunately, our denominators are not the same. And so a lot of students just try to add the numerators and denominators here, but we're not going to do that because that's not how adding fractions work. We have to have common denominators, or denominators that are the same. And so to do that, what we want to do is find a magic number called the LCD. Now the LCD, or least common denominator, is the smallest multiple of both of our denominators in our fractions here. And so we want to look at the number 3 and the number 4. Remember, these are our denominators right here. And let's list the multiples and see which one matches up. And so 3 is pretty easy. It's 3, 6, 9. Remember, multiples, we just add the number plus itself. 12, 15, 18. We can go on forever, but we don't need to. We'll see that in the list that we have here, we're going to see a common multiple. Let's look at 4. So 4, then 8, then 12, then 16. And I'd go on, but I can stop because we see right now that both lists share 12. That means that our least common denominator of both of these fractions is 12. That is the goal, to get our denominators in both of these fractions to be 12. And so how do we do that? Well, we use multiplication, of course. And so if we want to make 3 a 12, we can multiply it by 4. If we want to make 4 a 12, we can multiply it by 3. And to make sure that we don't change the actual value of each of these fractions, we have to do the exact same change to the numerators in each. And so let's go ahead and look at our two new fractions. Once we change our denominators to 12, we're going to get 2 times 4, which is 8 over 12. And we'll be able to add that with 3 times 3, which is 9 over 12. Great. Now our denominators are the same. We are allowed to add these two fractions. So if we add our numerators, 8 plus 9, keeping the denominator the same for both, 12, we're going to get 17 over 12. So let's do a quick check here. Let's make sure that we cannot reduce this fraction by dividing the numerator and denominator by the same number. Looks like we cannot, other than 1, which doesn't help us here. That means that is a simplified, fully reduced answer. You may want to write this as a mixed number as well, so just to make sure, remember, if you divide 12 into 17, it goes in one time and has a remainder of 5/12. So this is also an acceptable answer that you might see.